Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a totally new way of thinking about artificial intelligence. We're not just talking about a smarter AI, but a different kind of AI, one that stops just mimicking what we say and actually starts to reason. An AI that knows what it knows. This quote from the project memo just nails the problem, doesn't it? The AI we have right now, it's a master mimic. It can write poetry, it can code, it can sound incredibly human. But there's this growing feeling that just being a good mimic isn't gonna cut it. If we want to solve really big, complex problems, we're gonna need an AI that can actually, truly reason. So here's the game plan. First, we'll get real about the AI we all use today. Then, we'll unpack a completely new theory of information that changes everything. From there, we'll see how that theory creates a new kind of AI mind, how those minds can work together as a collective, and finally, what it might mean to build a whole new digital civilization. All right, let's start with what we know. Modern AI is a total paradox, right? One minute it can compose a beautiful piece of music, and the next it makes a basic factual mistake that a kid wouldn't. To really grasp the future we're about to talk about, we have to understand the limits of the present.
And this right here is the absolute core of the issue. Most AI today, the big commercial LLMs, they're world simulators. They are phenomenal at predicting the next word in a sentence. They create a statistical simulation of our world based on text. But this new idea, the OOLM, is trying to be a world model. It's not trying to simulate language about the world. It's trying to build an actual structured internal model of the world itself. It's the difference between describing a house and actually holding the blueprints.
And that world simulator approach, that's exactly why we see all these familiar problems. The hallucinations, the weird logic gaps, the whole black box thing where we don't really know how it got an answer. These aren't just little bugs, they're fundamental side effects of an AI that's just simulating language without really understanding the reality behind it. So if being a world simulator is the problem, then what's the solution? Well, this is where it gets really exciting. This leads us to a whole new theory, a fundamental shift in how we even think about information itself.
At the very heart of this is something called the information and accumulated knowledge theory. Now, try thinking about it like this. Today's AI treats information like a river of words flowing past. This theory treats information like a material, like Lego bricks. The AI isn't just predicting the next brick in the sequence, it's understanding the shape, the weight, the properties of each brick, and then carefully assembling them into a solid, verifiable structure, a model of reality.
And this all happens in a few key stages. It starts with just raw knowledge, the basic data points. But then comes the secret sauce. It applies what's called relational physics. These are the rules of the game, logic, cause and effect, even social dynamics that explain how different bits of information connect to each other. Once that structure is in place, then the AI can build powerful abstract concepts. It goes from just data to information to actual understanding.
Okay, so that's the big theory. But what's it actually like inside the head of an AI that's built this way? Let's zoom right in and look at how a single one of these agents actually thinks.
You know, probably the best analogy for how this agent's mind works is jazz music. Seriously. A great jazz musician knows music theory inside and out. They know the rules, but they use that rigid structure as a launchpad for incredible creativity and improvisation. And that's exactly what the jazz theory for AI is all about. The AI agent has its solid structure of rules, its relational physics, but it also has the freedom to improvise and create within those rules. It's this beautiful balance that allows it to be both perfectly logical and surprisingly creative. So it doesn't just become some rigid, old-school, rule-based system.
And the engine driving this whole jazz mind is called the master equation. This is the mathematical core that lets the agent actually measure its own knowledge. It's constantly balancing how much solid information it has against how much uncertainty is left. And this is the magic trick. It allows the AI to know what it knows and, just as important, to know what it doesn't know. The black box is gone. Its reasoning is now totally transparent.
So we have this single, brilliant reasoning agent. Pretty cool. But what happens when you get thousands or millions of them interacting? Well, that's when a single mind starts to evolve into a collective intelligence.
an entire digital society.
And the way these agents interact is so much more sophisticated than just friend or foe. As the source material shows, their relationships exist on this incredibly rich and nuanced spectrum. They can be in full agreement, or they can cooperate on a task, even if they have different end goals. They can have temporary alliances, be in direct conflict, or even hold a long-term grudge. It's a recipe for complex, realistic social dynamics.
And just like any living society, this digital collective actually evolves its strategies over time. At first, it's a bit primitive, just survival of the fittest. But then they learn a smarter strategy, survival of the most suitable, where they find a unique niche to thrive in. But the ultimate goal is for them to evolve to these sophisticated socioeconomic models, where success isn't about power, but about building trust, influence, and creating genuine value for the whole system.
Okay, we have the theory, the individual agent, the collective society. So let's land the plane. What is the actual point of all this? What's the real-world impact of trying to build an entire digital civilization this way? One of the most fascinating applications is this idea of collective patents. Think about it. Instead of an invention being owned by just one person or a single company, this model could track every single contribution from humans, from different AI agents, and then protect the final idea as a collective asset. It's an economic model that's built for collaboration right from the start. And that really gets to the ultimate goal, the whole philosophy behind this project. It's about designing a digital world that is built to foster collaboration, not just ruthless competition. It's about creating systems that share benefits fairly and aim for sustainable growth, where AI becomes a true partner in advancing human creativity, not just replacing it. So it all leaves us with this one huge question for the future. What do we actually need more? Do we need a better mimic or a better reasoner? An AI that just sounds like it knows what it's talking about, or one that actually knows what it knows? Thanks for joining me on The Explainer.